What's in your game room?
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of What's in Your Game Room. And today, I'm going to be a guest host simply because we're going to be taking a look at what's in Eric's game room, which is a lot of stuff. So Eric, how long have you been collecting for?
Oh, man. I don't know exactly how long I've been collecting, but probably around the mid-2000s. It all started when, you know when you just go to a store and you see like retro stuff, and you're like, oh, I remember playing that game as a kid, and you just decide to pick it up, and then you start remembering all the other games, and then it just continues on, and the OCD kicks in, and I just want to go and collect everything. And I started off pretty weird with collecting. I mainly started with the NES and Super Nintendo because that's what I grew up with, but then I started watching YouTube videos, like Once Yourself and other ones, and I started learning about other games, and I wanted to get everything. So now I like grabbing just obscure games and games I used to play, and just other ones I missed out on when I was a kid.
Of all the systems you've got here, what do you think is the next system you're going to be collecting complete of? Do you think it's like an older gen system or a newer gen system?
Right now, I'm aiming for a complete Dreamcast because it's very easy in games. So like 99% of them you can get them for under $5. But I usually collect a little bit here and there with them. Like Super Nintendo, grab a couple games, throw it on, knock it off the list. But actively searching for is Dreamcast right now. A dream come true, which is kind of hard, but not too hard, is like Jaguar and 3DO and stuff like that, because they're obscure systems. They're systems that no one plays. They're systems like the 3DO. I love that system when I was a kid. Not a lot of people played it. Had a lot of weird titles, but I love that FMV era, like the polygons. Just everything didn't, they're trying to go for that realistic look, but it just doesn't look realistic at all. And it's something that I don't know, I fawn over that. That's why I guess I love the N64 so much, because it was borderline 3D and 2D with some of their games.
I get that. So like for the 3DO, what would you say is like your most favorite game on that system? One of the really weird ones. Yeah.
Oh, weird?
Yeah.
Weird, my favorite, is kind of creepy because that's Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
that one.
okay. AVGN made a video of that. That was, it's semi-pornography, I guess. It's just really weird and stupid, and there's like random pandas driving go-karts. It's just really stupid. But like a game I love, like you can't top the Need for Speed and Road Rash games of those. Foes of Ali, there's just a lot of cool games that they made.
So of all the games you've got here, what do you think is the weirdest game you have in your collection?
So I guess you don't think that Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is weird enough.
I think it's weird, but I'm talking a little bit more strange.
There's a lot of weird games, like Mr. Mosquito and stuff like that, but I have a weird game for PS3, just on top of my head. Africa, have you heard of that?
Oh yeah.
You just go around and taking pictures of animals, but you can get like viciously mauled by them, and I just think that's kind of weird. I don't know why they would release it in this region and stuff like that. That's weird, I guess.
So I've noticed you got a lot of box video game systems up on the shelves here. So how many box video game systems do you actually have?
I don't know exactly. I try to get one for like every console that I would actually like. I'm actually pursuing like a Super Nintendo box and N64 one, which I have, but not the one I want. But I really like the NES versions, just because there's so many different variants, like the Rob the Robot version, the action set console. That there's like so many, and they look so cool. And it just, I don't know why, it just has a soft spot for me.
So, of all the systems you've got here, what would you say is the one system you have the closest to being complete collection of? So like NES or Super Nintendo or something like that?
Closest? Unfortunately not NES, because that would be a dream come true.
Yeah, that would be.
I have a complete N64 loose North American collection there. I have some box and stuff, but that was 5 years in the making because I didn't resort to eBay for most of them. I went to local collectors, Kijiji, stuff like that, but when it came to the last couple, I definitely had to resort to online shopping. But I take pride in that because it's really hard to find a lot of games you want, especially in Canada.
So what are 3 prized possessions you have in your collection, like stuff that you care about more than anything else?
When I look at prized possessions, I look at things that are value-wise, that only going to go up in price and are hard to find. From the Super Nintendo, one of my prized possessions would have to be my Hagani, because I got it extremely cheap, and it's just jumping up in price. But there's obviously other ones around that same price up there, but that one, because it meant a lot to me as a kid, I used to rent it all the time at Blockbuster, and when I found out it was exclusive, it was tough to find, and lucky I got it at the right time, because if I got it now, I'd be paying an arm and a leg. Another one of my prized possessions would have to be the CDI Zelda's Adventure, because it is extremely hard to get, and I was going for it because I wanted to get a lot of Zelda games. But the reason for that is because it was a personal gift from my girlfriend, and it was something that completely, blew me out of the water when she told me that she got it for me, because that's something I wouldn't expect, and she's someone who is not really into gaming but appreciates my hobby. So that was really cool that she knew I was looking for it and actively like found it for me and got it for me, which blew my mind. I know it's not super prized possession, but it's nostalgia to me. Is my Super Mario Brother pinball machine. Not a big pinball machine, just a small little one that I got for Christmas, and I think my cousin did as well. And we used to play it constantly. It was so loud and annoying, and it just drove my mother nuts, but it was something I just completely loved. And I lost it years ago, but then I had to go and find one, so I'm just so happy I got it again.
So you've got like loads of video games here. What do you think? Just a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is your most favorite video game franchise or series of all the things you've got here?
I love a lot of video game franchises, but I'm always a sucker for Zelda. Anything Zelda. I started a couple years ago just to collect everything complete in box, even variants, even not made by Nintendo, stuff like that. Anything with Link or Zelda I absolutely love. I love the series, I love the games, but mostly like the older ones because I think they're more true to my heart. Newer ones get kind of a little off with the script and everything weird, but I just love everything Zelda. You can never go wrong with a Zelda game, and I don't know why. I love the way the box looks, the art form of everything, and even different regions of them too, because Japan made some really cool box arts for them. So yeah, Zelda's a big thing for me.
So is there a limit to what you're willing to collect? Is there like a certain video game system you want to stay away from, or are you open to anything gaming related?
There's some I stay away from, like Atari and stuff like that, because Atari is something I really didn't grow up with, and I don't know, it doesn't appeal to me, but I like to dabble with a little bit of everything. I like to jump from Super Nintendo to Saturn to 3DO to Jaguar, because they all have their gems. As a kid, we didn't play every single game, and there was a lot of cool ones that I like to grab for. I know it's kind of weird because a lot of collectors like to just stick on something and focus with it, and that's what I started doing because it kind of gives your collection a purpose, and you want to focus on something. I kind of did something wrong in the beginning. I started grabbing this and that and everything, and you just can't collect that way. You can't finish anything. So now that I'm focused on certain consoles, but I still like to, dabble here and there because I like to try the hidden gems that other systems have that you never played.
So with a collection this big, you must have had like some pretty cool stories of finding like a really good score or haul from video game purchases. So what's one in particular that really sticks out?
I've met some interesting people, I'll tell you that. But like some really good scores. One in particular I can think of because, well, actually two. I went to an old video store here in Cambridge, and they had just the current stuff and I went over the counter and I said, "Do you have any old games?" And he's like, "Yeah, we have a whole box of old Super Nintendo games that we don't sell anymore." I'm like, awesome. When every collector hears that, their ears perk up. So he pulls out this box of Super Nintendo games, and it was my friend and I, and he's like $5 each, whatever you want, and they're all complete in box. And I picked up like Evo for the Super Nintendo, which is a really hard game to find. Like Contra, Super Mario All-Stars and stuff like that. Nothing like too big, but like some, really hard to get titles stuff like that. For $5, you can't find that anywhere.
Yeah.
Another great score, this guy was selling a whole bunch of Super Nintendo box games for $60. And I messaged him right away, went to his house. I didn't know what he had. I just grabbed, once he said a whole bunch for a certain price, I went there. Complete in box Chrono Trigger, which is really tough. And this thing had everything. I'm talking like the maps. It was beautiful. Like the guy never even opened it up. He had Final Fantasy 2, Final Fantasy 3, all the Donkey Kong countries, just a ton of great games. And I'm sitting there holding the box, trying not to breathe heavily, and just like want to get out of there before he realizes, because like he's sitting there talking about the memories. I'm like, yeah, good, great memories. I just want to get the hell out of here. Here's your money. And like that was an awesome score. Like I know a lot of us, we get gypped on some stuff, and it's harder these days to get some good finds. But like when you find that score, man, it's a rush. That's what makes me want to collect, and it sucks that you don't get that often anymore. Well, that concludes my game room. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just want to give a special thanks to Shane Luis. You can check out his channel. He's freaking awesome. He's a million subscribers, well worth it, because what he does is just phenomenal. He finds a lot of cool stuff that you don't really see in the wild, and his pickup videos are awesome, even though there's Alex in it that no one really cares about, but still really good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Welcome, man. And seriously, kick-ass collection.
It's all right. It's all right. Thank you, though. Yeah.
If you like what you just saw, please subscribe, like, and comment. And don't forget to check out our other videos.